Hey there, math enthusiasts. Today we're tackling the 2023 November paper 1 mathematics. Right. So get ready for some mind bending equations and exciting solutions. Okay. Also please do not forget to download the question paper that is on our description below, and let's solve the maths problems together. Okay, so basically, guys, now we have what? We have this maths paper 2023, right? So basically, what you're going to try to do here is going to try to solve these questions. If you see, this is the national paper, grade 12. It's worth 150 marks, and it's for 3 hours, right? So we're going to go to step by step into solving these problems, guys. Okay, yeah. So basically, here we have what? We have question 1. So question 1 says we have what? We are solving for x, basically, right? So the first question says x squared plus x minus what? Minus 12 is equals to 0, right? So basically we know most this is an equation, right? So all you need to do here in this equation is to what? Is to factorize, right? So how can you factorize this basically? So the method that I usually use when I factorize is that I look at the what? I look at the constant, and I look at what? I look at the coefficient of x squared, right? So basically if you factorize this, it will go like x and then 4 and 3, because when you look at the constant, what you do now is focus on what? Is to focus on multiples of the focus on the multiples of the constant. That when you multiply them together, they're gonna give you back the constant, and then when you subtract them, they're gonna give you what? They're gonna give you the what? The middle value of x, basically, right? So in this case, this would be what? This would be x plus 4 and x minus what? X minus 3. Because if you multiply what? If you multiply x by 4, you're gonna get 4x. And then if you multiply what? X by 3, you're gonna get minus 3. And then minus 4x plus 4x minus 3x is gonna be equals to what? It's equals to x, guys. Right. So it's gonna be equals to what? It's gonna be x plus 4 and x minus 3 is equals to 0. Right. So now if you solve this, you're gonna what? You're gonna use the what? The general rule for equations equals to 0. You're gonna use the zero product, which is going to be x plus 4 is equals to 0, or x minus 3 is equals to 0, right? So what you do, take the 4 over the equal sign, so it's going to be what? It's going to be x is equals to minus 4, or x is equals to minus 3 plus 3, right? So we'll solve our first question, and then let's do what? Let's do 1.1.2, 1.1.2, right? So 1.1.2 says what? It gives us 3x squared minus 2x is equals to 6, right? So the question says that you need to what? We need to solve to what? So the question says that you need to what? We need to solve for what? For our answer needs to have what? We need to solve our answer into 2 decimal places, basically, right? So what you do here basically is that you know that you need to use the what? You need to use the quadratic formula in this question. So let's first solve it then. Let's take 6, the constant, which is 6 over the what? Let's take this 6 over the equal sign. So it's going to be 3x squared minus 2x minus 6 is equals to what? Is equals to 0, right? Now we are solving for what? For equation where we have what? You're going to have 2 decimal places. So we need to write what? The quadratic formula. So it says x is equals to minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, right? And this is all over what? This is all over 2a, right? So now what you need to do after we have the quadratic formula is to look for what? For the values of b in our what? In our equation, right? So the value of b is going to be equals to x is going to be equals to what? Minus 2, because b is this what? Is this number? It's the constant of x, right? So it's going to be say plus or minus square root of, and then minus b squared minus 4, and then where's a? The a is the what? Is the constant of what? Is the constant of x squared, right? So we take a there, and then we do what? And then you say 4a, and then c, the value of c. Then the value of c, guys, is the what? Is the constant, right? So we take what? Minus 6, and then it's all over what? It's all over 2, and then the value of a enormous is going to be what? Is 3, right? So let's punch into our calculator. Let's get our calculator. So our calculator says, let's punch it here. It's gonna be what? It's gonna be minus 2 plus let's say plus the square root of minus b squared minus 4a and then c, right? And then it's all over what? It's all over 2 3, right? To multiply by a, which is, yeah. So our answer is what? Our first answer is 1,78, right? So our answer is 1,79 basically. So our answer is what? It's so x is equals to 1,79, or x is equals to what? Or x is equals to what? So when what? Because it says when x is when plus, we'll say minus b plus minus. So when the value of x, when it's negative, what do we get? So our answer is negative 1,2, right? Which is negative 1,12, negative 1,12 basically. So it's what? It's gonna be negative 1,12, right? So we're done with our first question, guys. We're done with our first question, and then let's go towards to our third question. So our third question says 1 comma it's 1 comma what? 1,13, right? So it's square root of 2x plus 1 is equals to what? Is equals to x minus 1 basically, right? It's 2x square root of 2x plus 1, which is equal to x minus 1, right? So now the thing that you do in this question is what? Since we have a square root on this side, now our understanding is to what? To get rid of the square root, right? So you square both sides basically. Square both sides basically. Then you're going to be left with this side 2x plus 1 is equals to, right? So when you square this, when you square x minus 1, what you do to make things easier for yourself, instead of doing the long method of what, of expanding the bracket, all you do is, let's say x times x is going to be x squared, right? And then it's going to be what? And then you take what? You take this constant minus x minus 1 times x is going to be minus x, right? And then you what? You double that, so it's minus x times 2, it's minus 2x, right? It's going to be minus 2x. And then again you say what? You take the constant, which is minus 1, and then you say minus 1 times minus 1, you square it basically. So it's going to be what? It's going to be plus 1, right? So we're almost done. And then we have what? You're going to be left with x squared minus 2x minus x, and then plus 1, and then this one goes over the equal sign. It's going to be minus 1 is equals to x, right? So basically we will be left with x squared minus 4x plus 0 is equals to 0, right? So this equates to x squared minus 4x is equals to 0, right? So and then all you do is take the what? You take x outside the bracket, and then can I be left with x minus what? Minus 4 is equals to 0, right? So basically gonna be left with x is equals to 0, or x is gonna be equals to what? 4, because this is gonna be what? This will be x minus 4 is equals to 0, and then you take this 4 outside, over the equal sign, it becomes plus 4, right? So one thing that I also would like to motivate is that we need to check whether our values is going to be, whether our values are correct basically. So if we take x, if x is 0 here, if we substitute the values of x into this equation, right? So if we substitute this the values of x into this equation, right? So it's 0, it's going to be 0, this one is correct. And then if we take 4, it's going to be 4 squared, which is 16, and then minus 4 times 4, which is it's going to be minus 16, which is going to be 0, which is, they are both okay, guys. They both satisfy the equation. All right, let's do our third question, guys. Our fourth question basically. So our fourth question says x squared minus 3 is greater than what? Than 2x. This is 1.1.4. 1.1.4 says x squared minus 3 is greater than 2x, right? So all you do in this question is what? Is simply you take what 2 over the what, over the greater than equal sign, over the greater than sign actually. So it's gonna be x squared minus what, minus 2x minus 3. It's greater than what? It's greater than 0, right? It's greater than 0, guys, right? And so again, you factorize the symbols. Just use the same method I told you in the previous question. You take x and then it's x, right? Look for the multiples of what? Of 3. It's going to be 3 and 1. Multiples of 3, that when you add or multiply, they're going to give you the middle value, right? It's going to be 3, and it's going to be 3 what? It's going to be x minus 3, right? X plus what? X plus 1. Because if you multiply here x by what? By minus 3, it's going to be minus 3x, and then it's going to be what? If you multiply x by 1, it's going to be what? It's going to be x, right? So it's going to be minus 3x plus what? Plus x, which is what? Minus 2x, right? And then minus 3 times 1 is what? It's minus 3. All right, it's easy grade 10 stuff, guys. It's easy grade 10 stuff. This is just to remind you. So we have what? It's x minus 3, x plus what? X plus 1. It's greater than what? It's greater than 0. All right. So in these equations, in these inequalities, you need to what? You need to understand, or maybe what can I say? You need to look for what? For the values of x that when you substitute in this equation, they're gonna satisfy the equation. The values that you get as a product is gonna be greater than 0, right? So we say that if the value of x, if the values of x is greater than what? It's greater than 3. Or what? The value of x, it's what? It's less than what? It's less than minus 1. Right. So let's just prove it, guys. Let me draw a number line. So this is what? This is 0. This is infinity. So this is what? This is 3. And then I pretend this is what? This is minus 1. Right. So it says that when the value of x is greater than 3, right? Or the values of x is what? It's less than minus 1, right? So let's get the calculator to prove this is correct. Right. So what you do now is gonna say when the values of x is what? Let's say let's try to prove when the what value of x is greater than what? Is greater than 3. So let's say let's put 4 here. 4 squared minus 2, and then put what? You put 4 again. 4 again, minus what? Minus 3. Right. So it does satisfy our equation because the value of x needs to be greater than what? It needs to be greater than 0, which means it's correct, right? So let's try to put any value to see whether, let's say a value that is less than 3, right? Let's put a value that's less than 3. It's 2. Let's put 2 here. Let's put 2 here, right? Which means it does not satisfy our equation, right? So let's try to prove minus 1 then. Let's try to prove the fact that if the value of x is less than minus 1. All right, so let's put minus 2. Right. So again, the product, it has what? Does respect our equation, guys. So this is what? This is correct. Let's go to what? Let's go to 1.1.5. 1.1.5. Right. So 1.1.5, it says that we need to solve for what? 1.2 basically. It's 1.1.5. It's 1.2. It's 1.2 basically, right? So what does this do? It says that you need to solve for what? We need to solve for the simultaneous equation. These are what? These are simultaneous equations, right? So let's solve for the simultaneous equation, guys. Let's solve for the simultaneous equation. It says it says for x it's x plus 2 is equals to 2y. This is the question. and what? And 1 over x plus 1 over y is equals to 1, right? So now what you need to do now is to solve for this. I'm going to use the substitution method to solve this, guys, right? So let's take the first equation, right? So it's going to be x is equals to 2y minus 2. Simply I took this 2 over the equal sign, right? So this is our equation 1. I'm going to name this equation 1, right? And then let's take this one as it is. It's 1 over x plus plus 1 over y is equals to 1. This is equation 2. So what you're gonna do is that you're gonna substitute equation 1 into equation 2, basically, right? So where there's x you put what? Where there's x you put this product value. Where there's x you put that value, because this value stands for what? This value stands for the value of x. So now it's gonna be what? It's gonna be 1 over 2y minus 2 plus what? 1 over y is equals to what? Is equals to 1, right? So now we see this is a what? This is a fraction with denominators that are not common, right? So basically what you do here is to multiply this denominator and this denominator, right? So it's gonna be what? It's gonna be y multiplied by 2y minus 2, right? And then it's gonna be all over what? So now what you need to do in this question is that all you do is to do what? Is to take this denominator here, 2y minus 2y, and what? And you say 2y minus 2, and then you say what? Y over what? Y over y, it's gonna be 2y minus 2, right? So all you do now is to what? Is to equate this, basically, right? This is for what? This is for the first what? This is for the first bracket. This is for the first fraction, right? So this is gonna cancel each other, right? You're gonna be left with what? You're gonna be left with y, right? So this is gonna be what? This is gonna be y plus, and then for the another one, for the second one, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be y. It's gonna be y. It's gonna be y over 2. No, this is supposed to be what? This is supposed to be 2y minus what? This is supposed to 2y minus 2, and then y, and then you simply divide by what? You divide by y, right? So this cancels each other, and then you are left with what? You are left with what? With 2y minus 2, and then you put brackets on it, right? So the same thing for this side. I just inverted it, guys. I just inverted it, right? Here it's gonna be what? Again, it's gonna be y, 2y minus 2 over what? Over 2y minus 2. So that's why it cancels each other. And then for the first fraction, that's why we have y here, and then for the second fraction, that's why we have this one here. So let's continue, guys. Let's continue. So now we're gonna have what? It's gonna be y plus y. It's gonna be all equals to 1, right? Then we're gonna have what? Y plus y. You're gonna have 3y minus what? Minus 2, right? It's gonna be all over y. Then it's gonna be 2y minus 2 is gonna be equals to 1, right? So basically now we have what? We have this. We have a fraction, right? So to get rid of this fraction, we need to what? We need to multiply by what? We need to multiply by the denominator, which means you can also multiply the left hand side by the denominator, right? So all you do now is to say y 2y minus 2, right? Multiplied by what? Multiplied by 3y minus what? Minus 2 over y 2y minus 2, and then what you do on the left is what you do on the right, right? So it's going to be y 2y minus 2. So this is going to cancel each other. So you're going to be left with what? With 3y this side minus 2 is equals to what? So 1 multiplying everything is going to be so we're going to multiply what? We're going to multiply now the inside bracket. Gonna multiply y inside of the bracket, which is gonna be 2y squared minus what? Minus 2y. Right, so while multiplying, everything is gonna be stay the same, nothing's gonna change. Right, so now we're gonna have what? We're gonna have 2y squared minus 2y minus 3y plus 2 is equals to 0, because if this 2 goes over the equal sign, it's gonna be what's gonna be positive, and this 3y is gonna be negative. Right, so now we are left with 2y squared minus 2y minus 3y. Then we have minus 5y plus 2 is equals to 0. Right, so now what do we have? Now we need to factorize. Right, now we need to factorize. So basically this is the same thing, the same concept. You take what? You take 2y and you take what? You take what? You take 2y, and then what you do? And then you take y again. Alright. And then you look at what? You look at your constant. And then you look at your constant. Right. Look at the values of your constant, you look at the values of your what? Of your a, which is your x squared. Right. So when you multiply this, you're gonna have what? It's gonna be minus 1 and then minus 2, right? Because our constant needs to be positive, right? So when you multiply 2y and what and 2, it's gonna be minus what? It's gonna be minus 4y, and then when you multiply y and 1, it's gonna be what? Minus y. So it's gonna be minus 4y minus y, which is equal to minus 5y, which is our what? Our middle value. Which is our what? Our middle value, guys. Right. So this factorization is correct. Right. So we're gonna have what? We're gonna have this is gonna be 2y minus y, and then y minus 2 is gonna be equals to 0. Right, this is the what? This is the now we factorize it correctly. Right, so now the second step you need to do is to what? We need to solve for what? For the product of 0. Right, you need to what? You need to solve for the product of 0. So it's gonna be 2y minus 1 is equals to 0, or y minus 2 is equals to 0. Right, so it's gonna be 2y is equals to 1, or y is equals to 2. Right, so you divide by 2, you divide by 2, get the value of y, that is 1 over 2. Right, or y is equals to 2. Right, so we're not done yet, because now we need to what? We need to find the value. We need to find the value of x basically. We need to find the value of x basically. Right, so our equation now, we're gonna take what? We're gonna take this equation 1. We're gonna take this equation in total, equation 1. Right, so this equation says, this is equation 1. Our equation 1 says, it says x is equals to what? It's equals to 2y. X is equals to what? X is equals to 2y minus 2. Right, minus 2. Right, so basically what you do now is to what? Is to solve for the values of x when what? When y is equals to half. Right, let's solve for the value of x when y is equals to what? When y is equals to half. So x is gonna be equals to what? So where there's y, substitute the value of y. It's gonna be half minus 2. Right, so this is gonna cancel each other. You're gonna be left with what? You're gonna be left x is equals to 1 minus 2, which is x is equals to minus 1. Right, and then you need to solve for the value of x when what? When y is equals to what? When the value of y is equals to 2. Right, so it's gonna be x when there's what? When there's the value of x, you put what? When there's y, you put the value of y. Right, so it's gonna be 2. When there's y, you put 2, and then it's gonna be what? Minus 2. Right, so we're gonna have x is equals to 4 minus 2. So it's gonna be x 4 minus 2. It's what? It's 2. Right, right. So this basically are coordinates. Right, so when x is minus 1, the value of y is half. Right, and then when the value of x is 2, the value of y is equals to what? Is equals to 2. You see, so we solve for what? For the simultaneous equation, guys. So now our last question is what? It's 1.3. It's 1.3. Right, it's 1.3. So it's given this expression where m and n are integers, determine the values of m plus n. right? So now all you need to do, we need to solve this equation, guys. We need to solve for this equation. This is what? This is 1. Okay, so yeah, guys, let's do what? Let's do number 1.3, right? So number 1.3 says, 2m plus 1 plus 2m is equals to what? Is equals to 3n plus 1 minus 3n, right? So basically what you do, guys, here, this is the equations of exponents that is in here, right? This is an equation of exponents, basically, right? So basically what you do is that you focus here. The first thing you need to solve is this m plus 1, right? So we solve it like this, guys. It becomes what? It becomes 2m multiplied by 2 plus 2m, right? Same thing on the over the equal sign on the right hand side. It's gonna be what? It's gonna be 3n multiplied by what? Multiplied by 3 minus 3n, right? So basically all you know is that because these are the same bases, right? When they multiply each other, we say in the laws of exponent, if the bases are the same, we keep the base and we add what? We add the exponents, right? Because there's an invisible one here, so it's gonna be what? It's gonna be m plus 1. Hence we have what? Hence on this what? When we come back here, we have what? We have m 2 to the power m plus 1 is equal to 2 to the power m, right? Because the bases are the same, we add the exponents, right? So basically what you do now is what? Because you see now there's a common factor, right? There's a common factor of 2m and also 2m, right? So all you do is to take what? Is to take 2m outside the brackets, right? So you're gonna be left with what? You're gonna be left with 2 plus what? Plus 1 is equals to what? Is equals to, here again you see what? There's what? There's 3n. There's also 3n, guys, right? So you take 3n outside the brackets, you're gonna be left with what? You're gonna be left with 3 minus 1, because what? It was 3 plus 2, guys. This was 3 plus 2. I made a mistake. This was 3 plus 2. So it's gonna be 3n times what? Times 3 squared. So it's gonna be 3 squared minus what? Minus 1, guys. Alright. So that's how easy this is. That's how easy this is. So it's gonna be, now you have to simplify. It's gonna be 2 to the power m. 2 plus 1 is gonna be 3, right? And then you're gonna be left with 3 to the power n, and then 3 squared, it's 9 minus 1, right? So it's gonna be 2m multiplied by 3 is equals to what? Is equals to 3 to the power n, and then 9 minus 8, you're gonna be left with what? You're gonna be left with 8, guys, right? You're gonna be left with 8. So now all you do is what? Is to continue solving. You're gonna have 2m multiplied by 3 is equals to what? Is equals to 3n multiplied by, then we know that 8 is what? It's 4 times 2, right? It's 4 times 2, and then you have 2m multiplied by 3 is equals to 3n, right? And you know 4, it's a what? It's a perfect square, so it's gonna be 2 squared multiplied by 2, right? And then you're gonna have what? You're gonna have 2 to the power m multiplied by 3 is equals to what? 3 to the power n. And then you have what? Same bases again. Laws of exponents are coming again. Same base, same base. So what you do is what? Is to add the exponents, basically, right? So it's gonna be what? 2 cubed, 2 to the power 3, right? So now we're almost done, guys. We are almost done. We're almost done. So we see that by inspection that so gonna say by inspection, right? We see that 2 to the power m is equals to what? 2 to the power 3, and 3 to the power n is equals to what? Is equals to 3, right? So again, equations, bases are the same. So all you do is what? Is to drop the exponents. M is equals to 3. Bases are the same again. Bases are the same. So all you do is to what? Is to drop the exponent. So n is going to be equals to 1, right? So now we're going to be left with what? With m plus what? Plus n, which is equals to what? 3 plus 1, which is equals to what? 4, right? So therefore m plus n is equals to what? Is equals to 4, right? So yeah, guys, you've reached the end of our video. So if you reach this end of this, if you've reached this point in this video, which means you enjoy the content, so please consider subscribing and also liking our videos for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in the next one.